Hey guys, this tutorial is going to cover how to use the shape tools and the paintbrush tools within Acorn. I will also show you how to erase and step backwards, and you'll have a small introduction to something called layers in digital design. So I'm going to start by clicking the green so that it's just us and the digital paper. So here's your toolbar. Here's your tool options. So whatever tool you click on changes your options. So if I click on a shape tool, it gives me shape options. If I click on my text tool, it gives me text options. And if I click on my paintbrush tool, I get paintbrush options. You get the hint. So let's start just by building a shape, and you'll learn quickly just from seeing what all this stuff means. I'm going to go ahead and just click and drag and create a rectangle. Notice I now have two different, these are called layers. I have one that has nothing on it. You can look at the mini little version. And I have one where you can actually see my shape. By looking at this, you can figure out what is your stroke and what is a fill. Your stroke is the outline that runs around the edge. Your fill is the color that's filled on the inside of whatever shape you draw. You can turn those off at any point. So if you want it to just be an outline, you turn off the fill. And if you want it to just be a stroke, or just be a fill, you turn off the stroke. Common thing that happens is students have neither one of these are clicked, and they keep drawing and nothing is popping up because they're ghost drawing. One of these two things has to be clicked, if not both. You can adjust the size of the stroke. You can make it really bold and bulky or very thin and delicate. You can change the color. Simply click on the circle, and then you can click around to select a color that you like. This scale here allows you to adjust the lightness and darkness of whatever color you've clicked on. We'll get into more color a little later on. If I wanted to change the stroke, same thing. Click on the little circle, and then I can kind of click around until I find a color that works for me. Here's something frustrating that can happen. Right now, my shape is selected, so the computer knows what to work on. I know that it's selected because I see these little white squares called anchor points. The minute you click off the screen or onto another tool, those anchor points go away. So if you come back over here and you try to change and adjust your shape, you're not going to be able to because the computer doesn't know what it's supposed to be working on. So you need to select it again. This is your selection tool. So you can click on this. For those of you who like shortcuts, I believe the shortcut for the selection tool is S. And you click on the shape and there are those dots. So now you can go back and keep adjusting it. But you have to select it. The computer needs to know what, what you're supposed to be working on. So that's a quick little insight to working with shapes. Let's play with brushes for a moment. So if I come over here and I click on my paintbrush, and there's lots of fun options. If you click on the paint section here, there's tons of fun options to play around with for different things that you can make and create. I'm going to keep with, I don't know what brush I was on, but it was making a pretty cool texture. I'm going to try the sponge brush. And you can adjust the size of this brush and obviously the color. So come over here and select. I kind of want to keep it in a navy, I think. Notice what happens to my layers panel when I start clicking with my brush. Another layer has been created. Here's the beauty. This would be good for making snakeskin. Here's the beauty of working with layers. I can isolate them, so I can turn off my background by clicking on the eye. It's still there. But just by clicking on and off, I can hide it. You can also hide this. You can arrange the order of things. So I can put, for instance, by dragging the layer underneath, I can put this as my background instead. And the best feature is that you can move one piece separate from the other. If they were all on the same layer, you wouldn't be able to do this. And you can also erase separately. So if I go to my eraser tool, I can erase just what's on that layer. It's not going to touch the layers underneath, which is really neat. So this is a very advanced design concept. Good to keep your layers titled, Saho. Good to keep your layers titled and be descriptive, because sometimes as a designer you'll have 200 different layers involved, and it's nice to be able to go back and easily see. We'll get into more with layers and more with color and all that stuff later. But for right now, what I'd like to see you do is just play around with having a shape layer, having a brush layer, and creating something really quickly that just demonstrates you've built a shape, you've played with the brushes, and you've played around with selecting colors. Something really quick, and then we'll move on.